Hi, today we're going to do a hip and core video. We're going to start by loosening up our ankles, and then we're going to get into our hip mobility and strengthen our core. So follow along. To get started, you'll need a few tools. If you don't have these exact things, you can improvise at home. These are just guidelines and recommended. So I've got my yoga tune-up balls. You can substitute with tennis ball, lacrosse ball, you name it. I have a dowel here. You can use a broom, unscrew the stick, use this. I've got a band. I like a small band to put above my knees for some of these movements. But you can take any TheraBand and tie it shorter so that you get that same resistance. And then something to give me some feedback when I'm doing some of my core activation. So this is a softer ball that I'm gonna put on my low back. You could use a yoga block or a water bottle. That works quite well. All right, let's get started. So first we're gonna roll out our feet before we mobilize our ankle. So stand up, take your ball and roll out your foot. Make sure that you get all of your foot, the sides, the ball, into the heel. This helps break up the adhesions. If you've been suffering from any plantar fasciitis, this is something you should be doing at least twice a day. All right. This is just a quick roll up. Now what we're gonna do is get into half kneeling. You're gonna take your dowel stick, line it up with your pinky toe. We're gonna do 15 of these. And so you're gonna lunge your knee out as you exhale past the outside of the dowel. And this is creating a nice dorsiflexion in your heel. You'll see that the arch of your foot naturally comes back. Those are muscles that should be upholding it. So breathe in and exhale as you push your knee forward. That's 5, we'll do another 5. Nine, 10. All right, stand up and we are just gonna pump out those joints, those ligaments. So as you exhale, pump into those ligaments, get on the side. You might find one area a little more gummy. Feel free to focus on that area. Doing about 5 deep breaths as you open up into all the articulations in your foot, into your ankle. Now what we're gonna do is stretch our toe flexors. So find a part against the wall and curl your toes up and lean, put your weight over your heel, and we'll do this for about 5 deep breaths. This whole ankle mobility routine, which obviously involves the bottom of your foot and your toes, is really, really great for anyone that's suffering from tight ankles, calf cramping at night, and especially anyone that's got some plantar fasciitis going on. All right, let's move to the other side. So grab those yoga tune-up balls. I've got 2 alpha balls in their tote bag. If you just have one, that's fine as well. I like having them toted because then I can really get into the side of my foot as well. The yoga tune-up balls come in 3 different sizes. You've got your regular, there's another size in between, I believe, and then your alpha is the biggest one. I like the alpha because it's a little less uncomfortable, let's say, when we're working in the glutes and some areas that might hurt to break up the adhesions. Okay, let's get back into our half kneeling position. Remember, we're lining up the dowel with the pinky toe. As you exhale, tracking your knee onto the outside of the stick. Breathe in, exhale. Notice that you might have one side that's more mobile than the other. We all have asymmetries. Ideally, we're working at them so that we are more balanced. Asymmetries are a predisposition to potential injuries. And if this feels good for you and you want to do more, you can do 15 reps. It won't hurt. Just 2 more. All right, and now let's pump out the articulations of the ankle. Your ankle is composed of 2 joints. Pay attention to where you feel restrictions and where you feel that sweet release as you're doing these movements with your exhalation. All right, let's loosen up those toe flexors. So place your toes against a surface. So I'm using the wall here. You can use stairs. You can use the side of a yoga block as well. Now, just to layer a little bit of strengthening on top of that, we are going to do 5 calf raises. So notice my ankles don't buckle in and out. They're tracking just up and down. As I'm pushing into the ground, I'm squeezing my glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves, core. This can be a full body exercise. Excellent. We're gonna get on the ground and do some 90-90 switches. So your knees in a 90-degree angle, your legs are at a 90-degree angle from each other. Exhale as you squeeze your glute, driving your hip joint, which is right here, right in front of you. Inhale, exhale, as you switch on your ankles, squeeze that glute, drive your hip right in front of you. Make sure that your knee is in line with your hip. When I'm doing these mobility drills, I like to do about 5 at a time. So this is our last rep on each side. Now we're going to layer a little bit of strengthening with that. So grab your band, loop it above your knees. We are going to do some glute bridges. Place your heels very close to your glutes and hip width apart, so about the distance of your fingers. Pelvic tilt back, so you're flat, the low back is flat against the ground. And push into your heels, driving your glutes up. Squeeze, and come down with control. The band is the reminder to keep your knees out, and it helps engage your glutes. You should be feeling it in your glutes. If you're feeling it in your quads, move your heels closer to your glutes and really mindfully press into the ground with your heels. Exhale as you push your glutes up. Make sure that you get that full range. And one more. Excellent. We're going to get into some tactical prods. So, this is for your adductors. So you're going to go as far comfortable into an adductor stretch. So your knees are out to the sides, your hips are in line. Whoops. with your knees and start on your hands and just rock front to back. Your back stays in neutral position. And you shouldn't feel any resistance, any uncomfortable resistance. Now we're gonna do some side bridges. Make sure that your elbow is in line with your hips, pack your shoulder, and you are going to hinge your hips forward on an angle, really getting a side engagement and really activating your glute medius. All right, we're gonna go into tactical frog in, but the next level. And so you're gonna walk your elbows to one side and you're rotating your leg so that your heel is up towards the ceiling and you're pushing your hip down into the ground as you squeeze those glute muscles. Inhale as you let go and exhale as you push your heel up, driving your hip joint into the ground. One more time. Come back to the middle, rock it out a few times, feel the difference between the right and the left, the side that you just went deeper into, and now rotate your leg again up to the sky, squeeze your glutes as you push your heel up to the sky. One more time. And walk back to the center. Military crawl out of your tactical frog. And now let's do some hip side bridges on the other side. Line your elbow up with your heel, pack your shoulder. You can use your front arm as leverage to push into the ground. Breathe in, exhale, as you drive your hips forward on an angle in front of you. Great. Now we're gonna do some hip hinges. We're gonna do like the most ideal level, and your hip hinge is your deadlift pattern pretty much. So things you wanna remember is when you're hip hinging, the objective is to bring your hips as far backwards as possible and keeping the knees above the ankle. So the movement's really coming from your hip and not your low back. So you're gonna take the dowel. I want it touching 3 points of contact. So your head, between your shoulder blades and your thoracic spine, and then here at your sacrum. We've got natural curves where we can slide our hands in. Our feet are about hip width apart, and you're gonna breathe in, exhale, and squeeze, pushing into the ground as you come up to standing. And when you're standing again, your glutes, your quads, your hamstrings, your core engaged. Grip the ground with your feet. See how far you can bring your hips back. Challenge yourself. The stick should stay with those 3 points of contact throughout the entire movement. We'll just do one more. Great. Put this aside. Now we're going to get into some really awesome core exercises. So you're going to take that mushy ball or your yoga block or your water bottle, put it on your low back. Make sure your low back is in neutral. Your hands are right underneath your shoulders. Your knees are right underneath your hips. Stay nice and tall between your shoulder blades. Your neck is in neutral position, so it's you're looking about 3 feet in front of you. Take a breath in and exhale as you kick your foot back and your arm forward. If your ball or your block or your water ball is rolling off your back, you are compensating with your low back. And just reposition yourself. And let's do the other side. It's your heel that's reaching far away. We're not reaching up, we're reaching out. All right, now we're gonna do some crawling. So, staying on your hands and knees, keeping that feedback on your back. For basic, you wanna move opposite limbs at the same time. So we're gonna do some side shuffling here. Keeping your knees on the ground as you just start out. Do 5 steps. And now, return. For added challenge, elevate your knees. Come forward. And come back. All right, feel free to repeat all of these movements again, especially the last 2 core activating exercises. Have a great day.